What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. We're talking about the overall CrossFit Games experience and the cuts, situations, athletes being cut, and the overview of the competition. We know the champions, we know who won. Matt Fraser crushing it with a big comeback on day number 3 with a 5th, a 2nd, and 2 first place finishes, destroying Noah Olsen. Glad Noah Olsen got on the podium. I'm glad Bjorn Carl Goodmanson got on the podium too. 2 out of my 3 predictions for the podium, so pretty happy with that. Also an athlete, Jacob Hettner, who I thought would be in the top 5, came 6th, so it kind of shows that we kind of know how the athletes are going to get on if everyone performs well. Obviously Toomey showing that she is the dominant force in the women's field, winning 3 titles in a row, the first woman to ever win 3 consecutive titles. Absolute boss. Super happy with Christian Holt finally making the podium. She's an absolute boss, dominating the regionals field previously, and hasn't really had that consistency at the games that we've been looking for, so really glad that she had a really good freaking games and the events played out well for her. And finally, Jamie Green. Jamie Green is someone that I've followed for a while, winning the Open in I think 2014 and then going team with Yas, and then they finished on the podium. So a very good athlete that we haven't seen be on the podium before as well. Absolutely well deserved, beating out the previous game champion Katrin only by a few points. And then obviously Mayhem Freedom showing that they are the best team to ever win the games, winning 4. Obviously we know the results, we all watch the games if you're watching this video, but what I'm going to look at is games athletes' reviews on the games, and was it really that good of a games for the athletes? I just looked at BoxRock's post and they were reviewing all the athletes' reviews and what they thought of the games, thought the cuts, and how everything went. If an athlete is blaming the cuts based on because they did bad in an event, it's a bad athlete. You need to have 0 mistakes at the top level. So if you make a mistake and then you get cut, that's your own fault. I think Annie Forresdorf said that in an interview with Rory, and said that she honestly believed that she's never put herself in that position before and she's never been in that position before, so it is her fault even if she didn't like the cuts. So she's agreeing exactly what I'm saying, that she messed up, so she deserves to be where she was. That's putting your hands up, and I respect that a lot. Other athletes like Alexis Johnson and Brooke Wells said they didn't really like the cuts and the way it played out, and a lot of other athletes stating that they felt the cuts were too early and they felt as though it was unfair because some people may not be able to show their full capacity. Also stated that if an athlete was super good at muscle ups, as in i.e. the final event, which was basically muscle ups under fatigue because most of those barbells were good for the guys, an athlete coming in 15th would normally get to showcase that and show what they're really capable of. But now, if you're not in that top 10, you don't get to show and push yourself back up to the podium, and you're stuck in that position. There is so much speculation whether the cuts were good, the workouts were good, and how everything was. I know as a fan, this was the best games we've had in a long time, with the races from the men's, even Toomey still dominating, even on the team event, everything was very entertaining. As an athlete, it was more stressful, and it had a lot to do with how cuts were made, the workouts, and the structure. This is a new format that athletes need to get used to. Just like anything else in any other sport, formats change, things changes in a sport, and people need to stop whining about crap that's happening and how bad they're doing. They need to realize and understand that the format's changing, so they need to adapt their training to the format. There's one thing being good at a sport, and there's another thing being a seasoned athlete and training to be good during the season. It just means that now you're going to have to train slightly differently to make it into the top 20 very early on, and hit your weaknesses maybe a little bit more to know what they're going to do. To be honest with you, you got to expect on the first event it's going to be very CrossFit based. You're going to need a medium to heavyweight barbell. You're going to need a very skillful gymnastics movement, and you're going to need some cardio. Then in the second cut, you need to look at another thing. They're going to add another skill. They're going to add another cardio workout, and then they're going to test a different style, i.e. muscle fatigue. I feel as though these athletes that are moaning about the format, the cuts, is something because it's new to them and something they're not used to. They're used to going to the games in the top 40 and knowing that if they make a mistake, they can make it up. Now it's even worse than what regionals were. If you made a mistake at regionals, you didn't go to the games. And in my opinion, that would be more stressful. Whereas now, you have to be consistent. You are really testing for the fittest and the most consistent. Unfortunately, if you have one weakness in your game, which they're trying to test something more CrossFit style base early on, it's going to be shown. Whereas if you're super strong, super good at swimming, you're fucking a really good sprinter, but you didn't make the second cut. It's unfortunate because you do not have that broad capacity which we're trying to test in CrossFit. You're not going to show it. I do think coming across the next 3 to 4 years as CrossFit is growing, the standard's going to get higher because every country has a chance to go, and they're going to change the way the cutting system works, and they're going to be able to test it a little bit better. This was probably a learning curve for CrossFit, and they may be able to test stuff differently in a different style, i.e. maybe change the workouts in different stages. But I think the actual workouts itself and the whole aspect of the whole CrossFit, if you did all the events at the CrossFit Games, was very well structured and tested all domains of fitness, even though it was very different to previous years. Unfortunately, for some athletes like Brett Vikowski, if you are lacking that pull-up gymnastics skill and lacking that gymnastics pull-up strength, you're gonna be cut very early. So maybe mixing that up a bit and maybe moving the workout such as Mary later on and moving a different workout, maybe the swim or the sprint, back down, you're still gonna test all domains of fitness, but you've already tested that gymnastics skill in previous workouts to see how it's going to flow. So now we're going to see people that have a good engine and can swim rather than people's general gymnastics capacity. So much speculation, so much things going on. But overview, basically, best games there was for a spectator in a very long time, but not as good for an athlete with regards to cuts and stressfulness and how the games are played out, especially even for the top guys where every single placement makes such a huge difference. Do I think CrossFit are going to change it? Probably. But do I think the cuts are going to change? Definitely not. I want you guys to put your comments below what you'd like to see next year and what changes you would like to see. Give me 2 comments. 1, do you think there should be cuts that early on? If so, what cuts do you think there should be? I.e., should it go 75-50 after 2 events? Do you think they should leave the best athletes for longer? And put in another comment below, what did you not see at the CrossFit Games which you would like to see next year? Guys, it's an overview of the CrossFit Games and how the athletes played out, what I thought, what I think is going to develop. I hope you like the video. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.